Welcome Samuel Leach from Samuel & Co Trading. Samuel & Co Trading has been going since 2012 and taught over 1,500 traders in 2016.
Today we have Samuel Leach on the show.
Samuel Leach on the podcast.
I got tunnel vision for the mission, and my palms are itching, No, I can't waste my time, I gotta stay on my grind, So I got tunnel vision for the mission.
Welcome to episode 3. In this episode you're going to be seeing how we invest into traders and also the traders' responses and what the hardships are of getting investment and the enjoyments and the flip side of being a financial trader with Samuel & Co Trading.
The UK government has dialed back expectations that a swift Brexit transition deal can be struck.
So guys, I'm going to be walking you through some of my trades that I've been taking in the markets, both on the FX market and also the equities market. My latest buy actually on equities, as I'm a long-term equities trader, I buy them very few and far between, so these can be held for anywhere between 2 weeks all the way up to kind of 3, 4, 5 months. My latest buy at the moment is a stock called Severn Trent. It's a great company, both technically and fundamentally, so I'm just going to run you through some of the technicals. So here we can see on Severn Trent just how kind of range bound the stock has been since kind of 2016. It's just pretty much been bouncing off of this 2000 level down the bottom here, which my cursor is on, and been going and rallying all the way up to around that 2.5 level, just below the 2.6 level. But before this, it's a very stable stock, as some of you guys that are traders already will know that it's a defensive stock because it's water, it's utilities. We need this on a day-to-day basis, and therefore usually the stock in itself is quite consistent, moving to the upside. So I'm just going to zoom out on my chart here and just show you kind of how consistent this stock is in comparison to, say, for example, a currency or something along those lines. So here you can see pretty much from 2000, pretty much all the way back from 1995, just the sheer valuation of how this stock has pretty much rallied and continued to rally. Here you can see where we had the financial crash of '08, which didn't really affect the stock too much, so to speak. But as soon as that settled down, you can see just how consistently the stock has been bouncing off of its major kind of support levels and just moving onwards and upwards, really. In regards to that, you can see here, if I'm just to run through the stock in a little bit more depth, you can see it's just been bouncing along the 200 moving average and really kind of consolidating and then rallying quite sharply. Now this stock is a big stock for blue chip traders. Blue chip traders love consistency and also security when they're trading their equities. So this stock is, as long as you give it a nice bit of breathing room, you are looking at getting long-term consistent gains. And it is one of my favorite stocks. Like I said, look, if you're looking here and you can see throughout the chart, throughout 2014 here, it was just rallying off of its support levels, moving averages as well, so dynamic support levels, and moving up higher. You can see once a new high was made as well, it will then rally, come back down and test, and then carry on moving back up. So my most recent buy here, as you can see, is literally it's come back down to that level around that 2060, 2040 level, and that for me is an area of interest on this stock. Especially because the FTSE index is so high as well. Usually that's pushed by cyclical stocks, pushing the FTSE higher. And when we're at extremities like we are now, I would like to start seeing a sell-off in some of those cyclical stocks. So traders would naturally turn to more defensive and secure stocks, such as Severn Trent. So this kind of puts my expectations of seeing a rally in this defensive stock kind of in a good position, because I'm expecting cyclicals to sell off, if that makes sense. And so yeah, technically sound, lovely position. I'm kind of expecting this position to plan out over the next 3 to 4 months, so it is more long term. However, the security in these positions is really reassuring. And again, you can see the reward to risk on this trade here. We entered in just here with our stop loss just below the 2000 level and this major support level that hasn't really been broken since April 2015. So that kind of gives me a little bit more of extra security here, and I'm looking at a good 4 to 1 return on my money. And that's odds that are really in my favour. And if I'm risking 1% and I'm looking at a 4% return just from one stock, you can see where I'm going with this. If I start building up a 10 stock portfolio with 3s and 4 to 1s, we can be achieving that 40 to 50% per annum on our equity portfolio. So we don't want to just take technicals at face value, because obviously we're not just technical traders here. We're the complete trader. So it's very important that we look at our kind of fundamentals about the company. So I'm just going to show you the fundamentals now. So when we're looking at this stock, it's very interesting to see here that we can use IG for this information. You can use various news channels or whatever you want to do to look up the stock and kind of see what kind of activity is going on. So it talks about short-term news here on the left-hand side about rebounding towards 2231. That was an hour ago. Client sentiment, 93% of people are long. That gives me some real good reassurance, but it's only 11 to 50 people via a IG index, which obviously we can't see the wider picture of things, but to understand that 93% of those people are long kind of gives us a little bit more security, although we don't know how professional those traders are, so to speak, but it gives you that little bit extra. We can also see, if we move down the broker ratings, there's 14 broker ratings suggesting that this is an average rating of a hold. Now, the good thing is, when a broker rating is at a hold rating, it has a lot of room for brokers to increase their rating on that stock. Now, if the brokers slowly start to increase their rating to a buy or even a strong buy, it puts the overall rating higher to a buy rating. Now, if that happens, so to speak, then that means that there will be a large amount of volume coming into the stock and pushing our price more in our favour. When you're looking at holding the stock long term, we kind of want to make sure that the fundamentals are moving in the right direction. It's got a dividend yield of 3.76%, so we're making money just by holding this stock, which is nice. The market cap's 5 billion. It's a really good size market cap. So that kind of information is kind of crucial for us. If we look at some of the simple financials, I'm not going to bore you to death, guys, but if we look at more into this, you can see net income is as good as it's been since 2015. If we took out the year 2014, we've got exponential growth pretty much year on year, showing us that net income is growing and growing, which is a great kind of benchmark to be giving us more confidence in this stock. Equity is around where it has been since 2012, 2016, so it's pretty much stable. It's not growing massively, but the equity is always there. And the cash from operating activities is growing exponential. It's at the highest point it has been, just over 800 million. And again, as long as we're seeing exponential, stable growth and strong amount of cash from operating activities, then that gives me a large amount of reassurance in one of my stocks. So that's just one of my stocks on my massive portfolio. And I hope you really like Seven Trent. Give it a good look into. It was one of the best ones for me as well when I started my career, and it's still one of my favourites to this day. So that kind of gives me a bit of a rundown on Seven Trent. This week's been pretty hectic. We're kind of expanding as much as we can. We're bringing on the right kind of caliber of traders. So far this week we've invested into over 11 traders, which is a pretty busy week for us.
I've been granted £20,000 to start off with.
£25,000.
25k.
The total amount of capital that has been invested this week is £220,000. So why do I invest in other traders rather than just trade myself? For me, it's also about, there's a part of giving back, but also at the end of the day, I am a businessman. So being able to invest in my traders where they can become a specialist at trading a couple of instruments, such as, say, I trade pound and FTSE, someone else can just focus on trading just the Dow and, say, crude oil. then they're going to become specialists in trading those instruments, and that helps with creating a good diverse equity return. When we invest in traders, we're not just looking for good stats, we're looking for traders to have a reason why they want to be here, why they want to change their lives, and why it's important for them to do that. So everyone within the company has their own story.
It's the fact that I haven't reached my goals yet, so I know that I need to reach these goals for me and my family.
I've always wanted to be a trader. I've been doing this demo trading for almost a year, and it's the greatest moment of my life to just finally be invested.
I can work from anywhere in the world.
And I want to help my parents out big time. Dad's working long hours, mom's working 2 jobs.
I interview a lot of people, and I, like myself, ask a lot of people, why do you want to trade? And do you know what? 9 out of 10 people go and tell me, I want time freedom and I want money freedom. And do you know what? I'm no different to that. I want time freedom, I want money freedom.
Having all of those people together in this environment is what makes Samuel Co Trading.
It took me 3 to 4 months to become profitable.
2 weeks. It's been about 3 months.
3 weeks.
6 or 7 months. There were guys that got invested before me that were in the same training course. It's just a case of keep going, everyone progresses at a different speed. I had no knowledge of trading really before I started here.
No experience necessarily in full training given.
Yeah, I was inspired. I've never taken my hat off to someone younger than me before. And after seeing that, it was a no-brainer. I really wanted to be part of this company. You know, it was young, it was a lot smaller than what it is now. And yeah, I knew it was going to be something big.
I like the fact that it's an ethical trading company. It's transparent in what we do and what we deliver.
It's a serious firm, but at the same time, they know how to have a laugh and a joke and enjoy life.
For me, it's a freedom, you know? If you want to work from home, it's okay. You want to stay in office, it's okay. You want to travel, it's okay. So you have a choice.
I mean, Samuel & Co is about basically clearing up the sector. You know, we post verified stats, we're transparent in everything we do, we have our regulations.
Always believe in yourself. By believing in yourself, you'll go a lot further in life.
Since I started trading, it's been a difficult journey learning by myself, but it's definitely been worth it. It's highly rewarded, and if you can be consistent, you can outlast anyone in the market.
Yeah, we're not that typical corporate company, and that we're just a number at a desk. You know, you're someone here. Everyone here is a someone.
I learned to trade over a massive amount of period of time. Long hours, 16 to 20 hour days. You know, I was at university, I didn't have anything better to do. I spent a lot of my time studying FX, stock trading, did quite a lot of training courses, did a lot of online reading to the point where I was even translating books into English so that I could, you know, see what other countries are doing with their trading and their kind of styles. Absolutely everything. There's a lot of information out there, but it kind of really starts with yourself and developing your own system that works for you. I'm now going to show you just some of my simple positions that I have taken in regards to the FX markets. We've got pound against the US dollar. So this is what I predominantly trade throughout the day. It's one of the most volatile currencies. It's one of the ones that I'm quite frequently aware of. It's one of the ones that my algorithms run on. And so I spent a lot of time looking at this chart. Now, for me personally, I don't have a lot of indicators and gadgets on my charts. You can see I do over the whole kind of 6 screens that I've got that I do. But because I've traded so much, I spend a lot of my time just focusing on the price action and usually support and resistance levels using pivot points. Over here on the left, you can see one of my positions here where I had a sell position. And then I countered my sell position by hedging to the buy side. And it closed out my total, what I call my bucket of trades, in profit, capitalizing to the buy side. Followed by that, I then had another position here, which I sold off of the previous highs. It spiked up against me, but not close enough to my stop loss level. And I took my profit down here at the previous swing low. I then re-entered again here when I saw a small pullback, feeling that there was going to be a lot more sell-off coming from this, and re-exited at the previous low. So real textbook setups here. Wait for the next rally again, back to the previous high, off of the support levels from the previous day, and exited just as the market started to rally again. I then had more of a longer term position just over here. You've got to remember this is a 5-minute time frame, so you know this distance here doesn't look like that much, and this is what we use for intraday trading. So I left this position just overnight, pretty comfortable with my short position, had my stop loss just above the previous highs in the market, and as you can see the market sold off in the morning and I closed out with profit. I waited for the rally back up today and took another short position here and exited the market. So now my trades on pound against the US dollar, which is quite a fair few to be fair. We've got one short sell here, another short sell here, that's 2. We've got 3 here, we've got 4 here, 5, and then we've got our bucket trade over here, which is equivalent to about 4 positions. Just on the top screen here, we've got what we call FTSE. There's been a lot of positions on here because the market's been really nice and choppy. So I'll just show you through some of these. So opening positions in the early morning is a bit of a risk because obviously you have a wider spread, but nonetheless we managed to get a nice buy position in here this morning and look at closing the position out at the highs. So again, when you're closing these positions, you want to close them near the previous high because that's the first reject point you're going to get. So that's exactly what we did, and we got some nice profit from that. One thing you can see is that, you know, by trading the indices and just cable, I've built up a familiarity with how the indices, FX, how they move. And once you start picking up on that, you can become more intuitive with the markets. Hope you enjoyed the episode, guys. I hope you have a great week trading and lots of profits from the markets. Hope you can take just a little bit away from this episode and really kind of implement it into your lifestyle. Good luck, guys, and I'll catch you in the episode next week.
You'll feel a way about me. You'll feel a way. You'll feel a way about me. You'll feel a way. You'll feel a way about me. You'll feel a way. You'll feel a way about me.